Good morning. This is Pastor Zach with the Goodland United Methodist Church with your morning devotion for Wednesday, August 29th. Today I'll be reading from the book of James, chapter 1, verses 17 through 27. Every generous act of giving, with every public gift, is from above, coming from the Father of lights, with whom there is no variation or shadow due to change. In fulfillment of his own purpose, he gave us birth by the word of truth, so that we would become a kind of first fruits of his creatures. You must understand this, my beloved. Let everyone be quick to listen, slow to speak, slow to anger, for your anger does not produce God's righteousness. Therefore rid yourselves of all sordidness and rank growth of wickedness, and welcome with meekness the implanted word that has the power to save your souls. But be doers of the word, and not merely hearers who deceive themselves. For if they are hearers of the word and not doers, they are like those who look at themselves in a mirror. They look at themselves and, on going away, immediately forget what they look like. But those who look into the perfect law, the law of liberty and perseverance, being not hearers who forget, but doers who act, they will be blessed in their doing. If any think they are religious and do not bridle their tongues but deceive their hearts, their religion is worthless. Religion that is pure and undefiled before God the Father is this, to care for orphans and widows in their distress, and to keep oneself unstained by the world. James tells us that we are to be quick to hear, because not hearing enough leads us, apparently, to speech that is angry and unproductive. But hearing alone is not sufficient. We must also do, because failing to act is evidence of a fundamental failure to function as God's first fruits in the world. And then, in what then does our religion consist? Perhaps the second startling turn in the passage is not so unexpected after all. To those who have followed the argument leading up to it, pure and undefiled religion, according to James, is caring for orphans and widows in their distress, and keeping oneself unstained from the world. That's it. The care of widows and orphans is a symbol for the actions taken on behalf of the less fortunate, since in the ancient world, widows and orphans were the most vulnerable members of society. They were singled out for special consideration also in biblical law and prophetic pronouncements. And since such work would necessarily bring one into contact with unbelievers and with the seamier side of human existence, believers are supposed to be careful to avoid participation in practices contrary to their Christian ethic. Certainly these are important facets of most Christians' understanding of their religion. They would likely make many Christians' top 10 lists, but James challenges us to imagine Christianity in which these are vital. What would such a faith and practice look like? Perhaps if we as Christians were to follow James's precepts, we would do a lot less talking and a whole lot more listening. We would get rid of anger and self-deception. We would measure our faith by our personal relationships, both in our habits of speech and our relationships with others in our community. Our primary expression of religion would be an outreach to the poor and neglected. By such attitudes and actions, James tells us, we fulfill a divine purpose and become first fruits of God's creatures. Have a blessed day.